Alright, so this is going to be a super fast review of the Cali Audio IN-UNF, and we've done a more in-depth video. I'll leave a link somewhere in the description where Aaron from Aaron's Audio Corner and I discussed this speaker and the methodology that we used to figure out whether it's something that we could recommend or not, or maybe in this case, who we can recommend it to and who it might not be for. So this is an interesting speaker in that it's supposed to be a compact speaker. They have a smallish 4.5-inch driver, concentric driver, meaning the tweeter's in the middle, in this round orb enclosure. They also have a bass unit here that consists of small 4-inch woofers, and that's very surprising because when you think of a sub, you think of maybe at least a 6.5, an 8-inch driver, but dual 4-inch, dual opposing drivers is very interesting. The reason they use the dual opposing is because the force cancels each other out, and so you don't get a vibration on your desk if you choose to put a monitor on top of it. These are designed specifically for someone who wants to use these as studio monitors, and they do have various inputs. The most interesting one is the USB-C port, because you can just take this on the go, according to them, plug it into your laptop and start editing and making music right there, and you'll have confidence that what you're hearing is fairly accurate. Now, Cali Audio does make other studio monitor speakers that I believe are more accurate than these, but those are a traditional 2-way or 3-way design, so overall they take up more desk space than this would. Now, it's interesting because the bass unit you would expect to go on the floor, but it needs to go on top of the desk here. They even give you the sheet that tells you where to place the speakers relative to the bass unit. And so you can either have the bass unit stand up or lay down. And what we found was that the response is slightly different, whether you have it standing up or laying down. So it's something to consider. But they do also have these dip switches to account for those changes. The UNF stands for ultra near field, so as you can tell, they're made to be right in front of you, about arm's length distance. So these are $599, and according to their specs here, it gives you 320 watts of power, and the low frequency response is good down to about 39 Hertz, and my measurements confirm this. One thing that's interesting is that they chose to cross this over higher than you would expect from a subwoofer. I guess this is not a subwoofer, but most subs are crossed over at 80 Hertz. This bass unit is crossed over to the main speakers at 280 Hertz, which I thought was pretty high. I think the reason for that was that they were trying to minimize the distortion when you have a concentric driver. If that's playing a lot of bass notes, low frequencies, then you tend to get some kind of distortion from it moving in and out, considering that's acting as a waveguide for the tweeter. That's called IMD, but I'm not going to get into that too far in this video. Here are a few other details. It's using a 1-inch textile dome tweeter, and they are using Class D amplification with 60 watts continuous to the mid-range and high frequency and 100 watts to the bass unit. These are bi-amplified, which makes the best use of the amplifier power. So overall, there are things I like and things that I don't like about these. First of all, the things I like is that I was surprised at how full the sound was. I'm not so surprised because the designer there, Charles Sprinkle, has made consistently awesome products. It's such an odd design in that it's made to sit on your desk, the crossover is high, and yet it still works. It still gives you a nice full sound. You get deeper bass extension than you might expect looking at the system, and there's a good amount of functionality if this is something that is useful to you. So as far as cons, the bass unit is pretty large, and so if you don't have a space on your desk where you can either place a monitor on top of it, a laptop on top of it, or have space so you can stand it up and put your monitor in front of it, it's kind of tricky because the main speakers need to be close to the bass unit. So you don't want it in back of your monitor, they need to be in front. And so to me, it's really tough to figure out how to use this particular setup. It would be easier for me if I could actually spread them out further, but that defeats the purpose because that 280 Hertz crossover requires that the units be close to the bass unit. I don't have any use for speakers that are separated in order to save space. I would rather have the Cali Audio IN-5 or LP6V2, but I have the space on my desk. So as far as sound quality, concentric, it gives you a lot of space to move left and right, up and down, but the soundstage is pretty narrow considering that you have to be pretty close to these. I found the bass to be a tad too high, although it's something that I could EQ out. The other thing I noticed was that when I did a sweep, it went from the higher frequencies in the main speakers, and then towards the middle, it went towards the center, as you would expect, because that's where the bass and mid-range is coming from. So it was an odd experience. Normally when I do a sweep, all the sounds are coming from the two speakers on the side. In this case, it came from the two speakers into the center when it went into the mid-range and bass. Kind of weird. So overall, I can recommend this to somebody if you have the particular use case where you want to create music on the go. You need this particular type of setup. Maybe you can fit this better than some traditional speakers, or if you have a smaller desk, this could be useful to you. It definitely does what it says it's going to do, so I can recommend it for that particular purpose. So that's it for this video. I'm going to leave it to Fresh Hater Jay to put this on the speaker leaderboard.
All right, so here we are at the speaker leaderboard. If you wanted to take a look at this in more detail, you can go to speakerleaderboard.com. But instead of putting it into these other categories like passive bookshelf speakers and powered speakers, I figured that these are specifically used just for a desktop. So I only put them here in the powered desktop speakers category. And so where does it place? It is right here below the IN-5s. And just because these are more traditional and just the bass is coming from exactly where I would expect it to come from. But look at what's above it. LP6V2, these are all dominated by the Cali Audio family. So Cali Audio is doing something right. And right below it is the Cali Audio MM6. Below that, the SVS Prime Wireless Pro and the MTM 100 from Monolith, the Hercules Monitor 5, ELAC Connects, and the Klipsch the 5s. So they're doing a great job when it comes to desktop speakers, and yeah, I gotta put them up there. And of course, for best overall sound quality, regardless of price, here it is, Cali Audio. Let's see what's above it. I mean, these are much smaller, so some of these speakers just have more bass. I mean, that's simply it. You know, we got some floor standing speakers here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just more bass extension, which I am a sucker for. Actually, I just noticed these should be a little bit higher here. Again, some of these are better for other reasons, and it's just like, for example, more bass on the Klipsch the 5s, but less accurate. And so this, just keep in mind that these are in kind of just areas and sections. So one being above another one doesn't mean it's absolutely better. It's just better in certain ways and maybe worse in other ways. So these Dynas, again, more bass, and the ones below it, these are good, had a little too much treble. And yeah, these are all very good speakers here. Anything in this section is not too bad. Notice it's like here that it's in the middle, and here are the top ones, middle, and then the lowest ones down here. So it is what it is. Let me know if you agree or disagree. If you like the video, make sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell to be notified when I upload new videos. That's it. Take care. Bye-bye.
Introducing the Archimede Pilot 42, where history meets the future. This pilot's watch sports a robust 42mm brushed finish guarded by a resilient sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating. Dive into the deep or take to the skies. With a water resistance of up to 100 meters, there are no boundaries. An oversized crown allows for ease of use even with gloves on, a nod to its pilot's heritage. Peer into the heart of this masterpiece and you'll discover the Swiss-made ETA 2824 automatic movement. Behold its smooth, sweeping second hand clocking a breathtaking 28,800 beats per hour. It's all housed in a high-quality Ickler case, a brand renowned since 1924 for its craftsmanship. During the day, let your eyes feast on the striking blue hands, then watch as they glow in the dark, ensuring that time is always at your fingertips. Coupled with a riveted dark brown leather strap, the Archimede Pilot 42 pays homage to its roots while looking to the skies. It's not just a watch, it's a statement. If you're interested, take a look at archimede-watches.com.